Hello everyone, myself Dr. Radha Goyal. Today I will discuss leukocyte and their function in my lecture. In my previous lecture I have discussed the erythrocytes and their function as well as the life cycle of RBCs. Leukocytes. Leukocytes are the WBC, or you can say the white blood cells. They are the largest blood cells and they account for about 1% of the blood volume. Their major function of leukocytes are protective function. They protect us from various diseases, from the attack of virus, from the attack of bacteria. It also provides the immunity and defends the body against microbes and other foreign materials. Now come to the leucopoiesis. Poiesis means formation and leuco means white cell. So it is the production of leukocyte. Again, in my previous lecture I told you about the hemopoiesis. That is the summary here. That is this is again the leukocyte is produced from the pluripotent hemopoietic stem cell which is present in your bone marrow. And these pluripotent stem cells, they forms myeloid stem cell as well as your lymphoid stem cells. These myeloid stem cells, they are divided and form some precursor cells. These precursor cells, they divide further many times and form neutrophil, basophil, eosinophil, monocytes. While the lymphoid stem cell, they start its development in the red bone marrow but complete its development in the lymphoid tissue and forms your lymphocytes, which are of three types, that is the B lymphocyte, T lymphocytes and the natural killer cell. Leukocytosis, that is the increased amount of leukocytes in blood. It is called leukocytosis. It may be physiological and pathological. Physiological, that means due to some non-pathological reason. That may be due to some food intake, due to some strenuous exercise and some emotion stress. It can be recovered when these factors are going to be subsided. While the pathologically, that is due to some morbid conditions like inflammation and cancer. Now the leukopenia. They are the abnormally low concentration of leukocytes in the blood. They are only pathologically, like in severe viral infections, the number of leukocytes can be lowered. In autoimmune disease and in the chemotherapy and the radiation injury, the number of WBC or the count of leukocyte can be low. Now the types of leukocytes. White blood cells have a nucleus and they don't contain hemoglobin. As in the case of your red blood cell, they don't have nucleus but they contain the hemoglobin. Leukocytes are of two types, granulocytes and the agranulocytes. They are divided according to the presence of chemical filled cytoplasmic granules. These granules, they are stained under and visible under the light microscope. When they are stained and visible under the light microscope, they are called the granulocytes. In agranulocytes, they also contain the cytoplasmic granules, but they are not visible under the light microscope due to their small size as well as the low staining qualities. The granulocytes, they are of three types, neutrophil, basophil and eosinophil, while the agranulocytes, they are the monocytes and the lymphocytes. Now come to the eosinophils, that is a first granulocyte, eosinophils, they are the large, uniform sized granules within an eosinophils are eosinophilics. They are named according to the dye they take. Eosinophils, they take the acidic dye and stain as red orange in color. That's why it is called eosinophils. So it's stained with the red orange dye, red orange color with acidic dye. Moreover, the granules usually do not cover the nucleus. The nucleus has 2 lobes or 3 lobes. It is 10 to 12 micrometer in diameter and it is 2 to 4% of your all WBC. Now the function of eosinophils, they combat the effect of histamine in allergic reaction. Combat means fight. They fight in allergic reactions. In allergic reaction, there is a release of histamine which cause various inflammation and allergic reaction. So eosinophils fight against that one. They phagocytize antigen antibody complex. The antigen, the foreign particles which are going to be enter in your body and act as an antigen. Your body produce antibody against that antigen and form antigen antibody complex. This antigen antibody complex is phagocytized by the eosinophils and they also destroy certain parasites. Now to the eosinophilia. What is eosinophilia? Increased level of eosinophil in the blood is called eosinophilia. Now the basophil. Basophils, they are stained with the basic dye. They are stained with the methylene blue dye and that's why they are called basophil. They stain blue purple with basic dye. The nucleus is covered and has 2 lobes. It is round. It is 0.5 to 1% of all WBC. It is 8 to 10 micrometer in diameter and they liberate histamine, serotonin and heparin in allergic condition and make more intensive. Now come to the third one, that is neutrophils. The granules are smaller and pale ellac in color. Neutrophils, because it stains with both the dyes, that's why it is called neutrophils and they stain purple in color. They are neutrophilic. Its nucleus is 2 to 5 lobes and about 60 to 70% of all WBCs are the neutrophils and they are 10 to 12 micrometer in diameter. Their functions are phagocytosis, destruction of bacteria with the lysosomes, defensive against foreign material and remove the waste material such as the cell debris. Now come to the agranulocytosis. Agranulocytes, they have the monocytes. There are 12 to 20 micrometer in diameter. The nucleus is kidney shaped or the horseshoe shaped. The cytoplasm is blue-gray and has a foamy appearance. 3 to 8% of all monocytes are differentiated into the macrophages. The macrophages, they are of 2 types, fixed macrophages and wandering macrophages. Fixed macrophages, they are fixed at a particular position in a particular tissue. And when the foreign particles are coming to that particular position, they phagocytize that foreign particle, like in Kupffer cell, alveolar macrophages and microglia. In these cells, the fixed macrophages are present. And wandering macrophages, they roam all around the tissue and they reach at the site of your inflammation and going to engulf that foreign particle. So, fixed macrophage and the wandering macrophage. Fixed macrophage, that is a fixed at a particular position in a particular tissue, and wandering macrophage, they roam around your whole tissue and go to the site of your inflammation. Now, the functions of your monocyte. They produce interleukin-1, which acts on the hypothalamus and causing the rise in body temperature associated with microbial functions. Also stimulate the production of some globin by the liver. They also enhance the production of activated T lymphocytes. Macrophages have important function in inflammation and immunity. So, it also causes rise in body temperature, but that should be associated with microbial infection. It stimulates the some production of some globulins, production of activated T lymphocytes, and also play an important role in inflammation and immunity. Now come to the lymphocytes. They are the smaller than the monocytes and have larger nuclei. They are 20 to 25% of all WBC. The nucleus is round or slightly indented. The cytoplasm form a rim around the nucleus that looks sky blue. The diameter is 6 to 9 micrometer in small lymphocytes and 10 to 12-14 micrometer in the large intestine, and they provide the immunity. Lymphocytes, they are of two types, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes, and provide the immunity. B lymphocytes provide humoral immunity, while the T lymphocytes that provide the cell mediated immunity. B lymphocytes, they differentiate into plasma cells which further produce the 5 class of antibodies that provide the immunity. The plasma cells, they are responsible for producing the antibodies. The T cytotoxic cells aims to eliminate cancer cell, virus infected cell, and also cause the graft rejections. Now, see here, basophils, they are the blue in color, eosinophils, they are the red-orange in color. Here the nucleus is two-lobed, 2 to 3 lobed. Neutrophils, they are the purple in color because they are stained with both dye, blue as well as red-orange, or you can say the acidic and the basic, and they have the 2 to 3 lobes. The monocytes, its nucleus is horseshoe shape or kidney shape, and the lymphocyte, that is a round shape. Now, this is the significance of white blood cell count. Now, first one, the neutrophils. If there is a high count of neutrophils in your blood, it indicates bacterial infection, burns, stress and inflammation. But if there is a low count of your neutrophils, it may be due to radiation exposure, maybe drug toxicity, vitamin B12 deficiency, and the systemic lupus erythematosus. This is an autoimmune disorder. Now come to the lymphocytes. In viral infection, some leukemias and infectious mononucleosis, there is a high number of your lymphocytes. While the low count may indicate prolonged illness, HIV infection, or you can say the AIDS, immunosuppression treatment with the cortisols. Now come to the monocytes. In viral or fungal infection, tuberculosis, some leukemias and other chronic disorders, the number is high. But in bone marrow suppression and treatment with cortisol, the number of your monocytes are low. Now come to the eosinophils. In allergic reaction, parasitic infections and autoimmune disorders, the number is high. But in the drug toxicity, stress and acute allergy reaction, the number is low. Now come to the basophils. In allergic reactions, leukemia, cancer and hypothyroidism, the number of your basophils are high, but in the pregnancy, ovulation, stress and hypothyroidism, the numbers are low of your basophil in your blood. Here you are seeing in some conditions the two type of the cells are going to be affected. For example, in case of your allergic reactions, eosinophil and basophil both are going to be increased. In leukemias, monocytes and lymphocytes are going to be increased. Same in the low count also. When you are going to be a drug toxicity, the neutrophils and the eosinophil count is going to be decreased. And the treatment with cortisols, the lymphocytes and the monocytes are going to be decreased. Now here is the some diagnostic importance in short. If there is an increase in neutrophils, you can say inflammation is there. But if there is an increase in eosinophils, then allergy, parasitic infections may be there. And if there is increase in the lymphocyte, then you can say cancer may be there. Now come to your white blood cells summary. There is a two type of your white blood cells. They are the granular leukocytes and the agranular leukocytes. Granular leukocytes, they are called granular because they have the cytoplasmic granules and they are visible under a light microscope after staining. They are of neutrophils, eosinophil and basophils. The normal count of your blood cell is 5,000 to 10,000 per microliter, and they can live for a few hours to a few days, and their main functions are the combat pathogens and other foreign substances that enter the body, means they fight against the pathogens. Now come to the neutrophils. They are the 60 to 70% of all WBC, and their diameter is 10 to 12 micrometer, and their nucleus is 2 to 5 lobes, and they are connected with the thin strands of your chromatin. See here, there is a thin strand of your chromatin. The lobes are connected with the thin strand of chromatin, and the cytoplasm has very fine pale elate granules. The main function is phagocytosis, destruction of bacteria with lysosomes, defensin, strong oxidants such as superoxide, anion hydrogen peroxide and the hypochlorite anion. Now come to the eosinophils. They are the 2 to 4% of all WBCs, and their diameter is 10 to 12 micrometer in diameter, and they usually has the 2 lobes, and they are connected with the thick strand of chromatin. You have seen in neutrophils the lobes are connected with the thin strand, while in the eosinophils the lobes are connected with the thick strand. They are the large and the red orange granules because they are stained with the acidic dye eosin. That's why it is called eosinophils. Moreover, its functions are they combat effect of histamine in allergic reactions, phagocytize antigen antibody complexes and destroy the certain parasitic worms. Now come to the basophils. They are the 0.5 to 1% of your all WBC. They are 8 to 10 micrometer in diameter, and nucleus has the 2 lobes, and the large cytoplasmic granules are there, and they are appear the deep blue purple, or you can say the blue colors because it is stained with your methylene blue dye, which is alkaline in nature. They liberate the heparin, histamine and serotonin in allergic reaction, and that may intensify the overall inflammatory responses. Now come to the agranular leukocytosis. In agranular leukocytosis, it also has your cytoplasmic granules, but they are not visible under your light microscope due to their small size as well as due to the poor quality of staining. Lymphocytes, they are of three types: T cell, B cell and natural killer cells. They are the 20 to 25% of all WBC. The small lymphocytes are 6 to 9 micrometer in diameter, whereas the large lymphocytes are 10 to 14 micrometer in diameter. The nucleus is round and slightly indented, as well as the cytoplasm forms the rim around the nucleus that looks sky blue. The larger the cell, the more cytoplasm is visible. It can mediate the immune response, including the antigen-antibody reactions. B cells, mainly, they produce the antibodies. When some antigens enters in your body, the plasma cell activate and produce the antibodies and forms antigen-antibody complex. T cell attack invading virus, cancer cell and transplanted tissue cells. If there is some transplantation of an organ in your body and it should be matched with your tissue, with the recipient tissue. If it is not matched, the T cell is going to be rejected that transplanted tissue. And the natural killer cell that attack wide variety of infection microbes and certain spontaneously arising tumor cells. Now come to the monocytes. They are the 3 to 8% of all WBC. Their diameter is 12 to 20 micrometer in diameter. Nucleus is kidney or horseshoe shaped. See here, there is kidney, this is horseshoe shaped. And the cytoplasm is blue grey and appears foamy. This is phagocytosis is the main function of your monocytes. Phagocytosis, that is through your fixed and wandering macrophages. Now the lifespan of WBC, not constant. The lifespan of neutrophils are 2 to 5 days, whereas the lifespan of eosinophils 7 to 12 days. The lifespan of basophil 12 to 15 days. Monocytes, they have a lifespan of 2 to 5 days. And the lymphocyte, they have a lifespan of half to 1 day. So these are the basic lifespan of your WBC. This means the neutrophils can survive only for 2 to 5 days. After they are going to be replaced by the new one. Eosinophils, they can survive 7 to 12 days. After that we need new one, or it can goes under the degradation and the new eosinophil should be formed. After 12 to 15 days, the basophils are going to be degraded, and the monocytes, they have a lifespan of 2 to 5 days. After that, the cells should be replaced by the new one. Whereas the lymphocytes, they have a lifespan of half to 1 day. Means after that, the lymphocyte that should be replaced with the new lymphocytes. Now the normal WBC count, or you can say the total leukocyte count. In adults, 4,000 to 11,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. That is your normal level of your WBC in adults. At birth, 10,000 to 25,000 per cubic millimeter of blood is required. This means at birth, in infants below 1 year of age, the normal range is 10,000 to 25,000 per cubic of millimeter of your blood. And infants up to 1 year of age, that is 6,000 to 16,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. Now the children, 4 to 7 years of age, the total leukocyte count, the normal total leukocyte count is 5,000 to 50,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. While the children of 8 to 12 years, there is a 4,500 to 13,500 per cubic millimeter of blood is the normal range of your total leukocyte count. So students, let's revise this session. We will revise from here because the WBC, they have the granulocytes and the agranulocytes. Granulocytes and the agranulocytes. Granulocytes, they are of three types: neutrophil, eosinophil and basophil, while the agranulocytes, they have the lymphocytes and the monocytes. The neutrophils, they are called neutrophils because they are stained with the both dye, that is the acidic as well as the basic, and the eosinophil, they are stained with the acidic dye into red orange in color, and the basophil, they are stained with the alkaline dye and stained in a blue in color. They are the neutrophils are the 60 to 70% of all WBC, whereas eosinophils are 2 to 4% of all WBC. Basophils are the 0.5 to 1% of all WBC. Neutrophils, they have the 2 to 5 lobed. Eosinophils, they have the 2 lobes which is connected by the thick strand of chromatin, and eosinophils, they have the 2 lobes. Neutrophils main function is phagocytized, and eosinophils, the main function, they fight effect of histamine in allergic reactions, and the basophil, they liberate heparin, histamine, serotonin in allergic reaction. Agranulocytes, they are the lymphocytes and the monocytes. Lymphocyte, again they are of three types: T lymphocyte, B lymph cells and the natural killer cells, and they are the 20 to 25% of all WBC, and they are responsible for the immune responses. And the monocytes, they have the kidney or horseshoe shaped nucleus, and basically they perform the function of your phagocytosis. These are the lifespan: neutrophils, eosinophil, basophil, monocyte and lymphocytes. After their lifespan, they have to be replaced by the new ones. And this is our total leukocyte count in adults, infants and children. I have referred the Tortora and the Ross and Wilson for that one. Thank you. Stay healthy and stay safe.